Hello, this is the Promoting Cohesiveness presentation for Ryan, McKenzie, and Sandra. This is Ryan speaking and presenting on behalf of the group. Our approach to this task was to take the different list of actions, or the list of different actions that were given to us for what a leader can do to promote cohesiveness on a team, to focus on some that we felt were more important than others, and to structure our presentation according to the list here in this green box. So we begin with identity building. We learned in our discipline of teams reading that the purpose of the team is essential. Establishing a common purpose is essential for a team to function cohesively and optimally. So we started with the name. We wanted a catchy name. We assumed that this team was situated, or this university that we work for was domiciled in the state of Wisconsin. So we went with the name the Greenway Backers, a play on our professional football team, their name. The purpose of the team really, though, is the main focus, not just coming up with a catchy name. And the purpose of the team is something that can be established at a high level by management, and our reading noted that may be essential for it to do. They've given us the broad mandate to go out and promote a green working environment. They could add details to that. Maybe they give us a rationale. They're concerned about attracting green-minded applicants to the university, for example, as the younger generations become more and more concerned about the environmental responsibility of the organizations they associate with. The management or management's delegates, which again, in the context of this project is probably our group here, they can set expectations for the team, simply that the team be diverse, that it be engaged, that it be measurably successful in what it seeks to achieve. They can establish a certain structure, one that's recommended by Energy Star for these kinds of initiatives. Involves an energy director who plays a boundary spanning role and has the authority to do so, who's supported by the senior managers who must be actively engaged with this team and supporting this team. And then we have the energy team itself, which is a diverse collection of different representatives from across the university. We integrate the team's budget, with the university's budget to establish that it's part of our core business and to send a correct message about the importance of the team. And we limit the team size, maybe 20 to 30 members, because we want to avoid the natural tendency for teams to develop into teams that grow too large to break out into sub-teams. That obviously undermines our cohesiveness. One of the things that management should do is really stress the value of forming a team in the first place. Teams are not optimal in all circumstances. For some situations, a work group may be more appropriate. And by work group, I'm again going back to the reading for this week. The work group is a group of individuals that come together and they share knowledge, but then they go off and they kind of do their own thing and produce their own products. Whereas a team realizes synergies and creates a collective work product that has greater value than what the individuals themselves could produce alone. The team also has accountability for achieving a set of goals, a set of team goals, not just individual goals. And those team goals, again, because they can take advantage of synergies, can be more ambitious than individual goals. So management would need to stress the value of that accountability, of those collective work products, and just the idea that a university is a big place, and we want to bring together in this team environment a bunch of people that can discuss matters, make decisions, do work together, and represent the university as a whole. So the team allows us to do that. we can't ignore the fact that a team comprises individuals, and one of the things that actually does promote cohesiveness, if done correctly, is to recognize individual successes. So we would have a communications representative on this team that would establish a plan for communicating the team's activities to the university and the public. And as part of that, we could do feature stories on individuals in the group or their respective or the departments they represent that have achieved successes that have contributed to our group's mission. And that's really the important part, that we would always be couching the language of celebrating an individual's achievement in the language of the group's goals. So, for example, if a facilities director goes out and unilaterally, establishes a composting program in a dormitory, we can celebrate that achievement by saying it helped the Greenway backers, achieve a certain waste management goal by a certain year. We would also want, individual team members to recognize each other to promote cohesiveness. And for that, you can do something, again, riffing off the idea of the professional football theme, like a most valuable player nomination system that the energy director reviews at periodic meetings, and that at which, a certain individual is rewarded for their efforts for the most recent period. However, more important is to build a sense of tradition with this team and to reward the team for achieving the milestones that it set out for itself. One of the ways that we look at building traditions is, again, looking at, when we've reached a milestone, what do we do? And one of the things we can do is have like a debrief meeting following the completion of a project. This could be a lunch meeting, something informal, no agenda, where open communication is encouraged. It could involve a voting session that helps us steer the ship, so to speak, where members vote on what projects they'd like to tackle next. So we would do these meetings periodically. It would be both a time for review and a time for planning, and it would help the team continue to make progress. We would want to create or just sustain a success as its own reward culture. A green initiative is something a lot of people will get around naturally, and they may well view success as its own reward, and we would want to utilize that to the extent possible. But we also note that management is going to have to, one of the ways that they stay involved and ensure this team's success is by recognizing the team when it achieves its objectives. So recognition by management is another way that we would reward the team for its efforts. And by, again, constantly emphasizing the team identity, you're promoting that cohesiveness. We're all working together for a set of common goals or a common purpose. We talked about the issue of respecting other team members. We broke this down basically into 4 different categories or ways that we might do this. We can respect the time of the team members by making sure that a purposeful meeting, not necessarily one of those debriefing meetings discussed on the last slide, but a purposeful meeting has an agenda, and we can set reasonable rules such as no tardiness, no cell phones. But we want to make sure that these are not, that folks don't feel like these meetings are wastes of time, pulling them away from their more important duties to the university. We want to respect the right to team members. We want to respect team members' right to information. So the idea that decisions are documented in a globally accessible area, some sort of communication platform that everybody can look into, and we try to run as much communication, as much intra-group in communication through that forum. We want to respect the mission of the team, and for that, when we have a purposeful meeting, one of the things that's recommended is to, set a specific task for that meeting. So this meeting will be categorized as, a knowledge sharing meeting or a decision making meeting. And that's the focus. And great ideas may, peripheral ideas may arise during the course of those meetings, but we would want to table those for later discussion. And we don't want to ignore that this is a team. It's comprised of individuals. We want to respect the ego. So it's going to be important that we feel free to provide feedback to others, but we want to maintain tact in doing so, because nothing's going to destroy cohesiveness faster than, if everybody hates each other, because they're not dealing tactfully with each other. So we can also, if the meetings, if interruptions become a problem or people are talking over each other, you can do something silly, even with adults, such as, like bringing a football to the meeting and saying, you only get to talk if you have the football, and passing the football around. So there are ways that we can ensure that everybody is respected in that sense. Really, the meat, though, of this presentation, and the best way to ensure cohesiveness is to say from the outset, your first task as a team is to come together and to flesh out what management has broadly specified that you do. So you're going to set goals and you're going to measure your success towards them. And this is all part of this common purpose. And we're all working together for that common purpose. So you can see how that's going to promote cohesiveness. So for our group, we decided that we would, have the team focus on 5 areas: transportation, lighting, water, recycling, and renewable energy. The team would come together. They can identify the purpose of that area of focus, brainstorm benefits, and with the benefits clearly in view, probably readily develop a recommendation for what to do next. And then they can create metrics and set so-called SMART goals. If you're not familiar with that acronym, it's basically it refers to goals that are measurable, that can actually be achieved in a reasonable amount of time. So we'll see an example then here. But what that might produce, just in the case of the transportation area of focus, the team might come together and come up with the obvious purpose. We want to reduce the greenhouse gas production. The benefits to the university are several. You can read them there. The recommendation is to form a bike share or ride share program, or to encourage the use of public transportation. Sustainability metrics, we can look at the number of miles that students and staff drive home to campus, or the number of students or staff that are using bus passes. And we can set a SMART goal to increase bus pass usage by 2,000 passes in 8 months, for example. We could combine the advantage of working together as a cohesive team here is that we can combine our expertise to confirm that that's an achievable goal. So setting that team, like I said, setting this team set of goals is going to be essential. That, in combination with our plan to help this team develop an identity, build a tradition, recognize each other's and the team as a whole, their successes, all of that should work together, we feel, in an effective way to promote the cohesiveness of this initiative. Thank you.